anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. Men will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is coming on the world, for the heavenly bodies will be shaken. At that time, verse 27, they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. This speaks of the second coming. Now, verse 28 is a verse I'm sure you're familiar with if you've been coming here for any length of period of time. It's one of my favorite verses of all time, because Jesus then in that context goes on to say, when these things begin, keyword, to take place, stand up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draweth near, or nigh. Did you catch that? Isn't that a little bit interesting that in the context of the end of the age, there will be earthquakes and men's hearts will be in anguish and they'll be in perplexity. Why? Because of the roaring and the tossing of the sea. It's thought that what Jesus is describing here is what will come upon the world prior to his second coming. Now, I want to draw a distinction here, and we'll talk about this more in just a moment, but it's interesting that the second coming and the rapture, two separate events, are separated by the 7-year tribulation. Oh, here he goes again on the whole pre-tribulation rapture thing. Okay, already, we got it. Well, not so fast. See, I think it's incumbent upon us, especially now, in light of recent events prophetically that have taken place, that we know not only what we believe, but we know why we believe what we believe. See, we do no man no good by simply saying, well, I believe the rapture is before the 7-year tribulation. Okay, that's fine and dandy, and you're entitled to your opinion, and we all know what opinions are like. They're like armpits, so we've all got a couple, and sometimes they stink. When you add to that the why behind the what, then you give them a reason and you give them an answer to every man of that hope that lies within you. It's not just a crutch or an escape that you believe in the pre-tribulation rapture. And I know many of you have come under fire, if I can say it like that, from well-meaning Christians who have challenged you on your pre-tribulation rapture belief, as if to say that, well, you just want to escape. To which I always like to respond, yeah, you want to be here? Be my guest. You know, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. I've had heated debates with mid-tribulation, or they call them pre-wrath, which is just another name for mid-trib rapture believers who believe that the rapture will come pre-wrath, which is the last half of the 7-year tribulation. And I think that theology is worse. That teaching is false as false can be. And so I've just, had heated debates with these believers, these well-intentioned believers. Some are pastors. And I've simply said to them, well, I guess in Hawaii you would say it like this: Bombay. Bombay, you'll learn. You'll figure it out. I'll just, hey, told you so. See you in 3.5 years, brah. No, that's really cruel. Don't do that, by the way, if you... Maybe I'm being a little over silly because I want to really drive this point home. And here's why. If you, again, place the rapture of the church anywhere but at the beginning of the tribulation, then you need to tear out Luke's gospel, the page, Luke chapter 21 in your Bible. Oh, tear out Matthew 24 and 25 too. Oh, and while you're at it, you'll need to go to Thessalonians. You'll need to go to pretty much about 1/3 of your Bible, and even in the Old Testament, and just get rid of it. Because you cannot keep it in your Bible and hold to a pre-tribulation rapture belief. I know that's strong, but it needs to be. It needs to be. Now, if you were here Thursday night, you were treated to what is perhaps one of the most fascinating studies in all of the Bible. We're in Leviticus 23. Some of you are looking at me like, fascinating? Leviticus? Which Bible are you talking about? Oh, no, listen. We're in the Old Testament on Thursday nights. We're going through the Bible. We started in Genesis in 2006, I think it was. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. We're almost done with Leviticus. Then we go to Numbers. Then we go to Deuteronomy. And then the rapture happens. Leviticus 23 is about the 7 feasts of Israel. The 7 feasts of Israel. What's so exciting and fascinating about that? Do you realize that in the 7 feasts there is painted a prophetic picture of not just the first coming of Jesus Christ, but the rapture of the church by Jesus Christ, and then the second coming of Jesus Christ. Now, what if I told you that in the 7 feasts, in of all places, Leviticus chapter 23, you have a pre-tribulation rapture? What if I told you that in the days of Noah, so too would it be in the coming of the Son of Man? What if I told you that in the book of Genesis you have a pre-tribulation rapture? What? I thought Noah and his family went through the flood. Yes. But where's Enoch? Enoch? He was raptured. He was raptured? Yeah. Enoch is a picture of the church. Noah and his family, a picture of Israel. See, Israel will go into and through the tribulation, and they'll be saved, the whole house of Israel, in the tribulation. Why? Because the purpose of the tribulation is for the salvation of the Jewish nation. The purpose of the tribulation is not for the salvation of the church, because the church is already saved. I mean, I'm not the sharpest knife in the kitchen drawer, but that's pretty clear to me. Not only that, but think about this. In Revelation, chapters 1, 2, and 3, you have the church mentioned 19 times. In Revelation chapter 4, verse 1, John hears the sound like that of a trumpet call to, quote, come up hither. He is raptured up, future tense, prophetically taken up in chapter 4, verse 1, and you never see the church again from chapter 4 all the way through to chapter 22. In fact, chapters 6 through 19 of the book of Revelation are all about the 7-year tribulation. The word church is not found one time in chapters 6 through 19. Why is the word church not found in chapters 6 through 19 in the book of Revelation, which is all about the tribulation? Because the church isn't in the tribulation. One other thought, and then we'll try to move on here. It's the time of Jacob's trouble. The 7-year tribulation is also called the time of Jacob's trouble. Who was Jacob? Remember Jacob? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Well, God changed Jacob's name. What did he change Jacob's name to? Israel. He had 12 sons. They would become the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, it's the time of Jacob, a.k.a. Israel's trouble. That's the 70th week of Daniel that is yet future to come to pass. Well, Pastor J.D., why are you telling us all of this? I mean, come on, you're beating a dead horse here. We already know this. Well, okay, that's fine, but do you know why you already know this? Do you know why you believe this, and why it's important that you know why you believe this? Because here's why. Tomorrow you're going to go to work, and you're going to be talking to a coworker about the tsunami.